Developing now, bullets fly in broad daylight in New Smyrna Beach. Police say it was a shootout between rival biker gangs.
March 8th, 2025. Broad daylight. A Florida gas station erupts into chaos. Fists fly. Gunshots crack through the air. Innocent bystanders dive for cover. Two rival motorcycle gangs just turned Bike Week into a war zone. 4 months later, law enforcement strikes back with a force nobody saw coming. 28 arrests across multiple states, 14 search warrants executed simultaneously. The Mongols Motorcycle Club just faced one of the most coordinated takedowns in recent history. This is Operation Mongolian Beef, and this story goes deeper than anyone imagined. On March 8th, 2025, during Daytona Beach Bike Week,
and Sturgis police released crime statistics for the first day of the 85th annual Sturgis Motorcycle Rally.
A violent confrontation between the Mongols and Warlocks motorcycle gangs erupted at a racetrack gas station in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. What started as a heated argument quickly escalated into a full-scale brawl involving dozens of gang members, ending with gunfire that injured 2 people. 4 men fired weapons during the altercation in broad daylight around innocent bystanders. The shooting occurred at a racetrack gas station near State Road, 44 and Ocean Gate Boulevard. Witnesses captured the terrifying moment on their cell phones. Videos show a group of bikers throwing punches before gunshots ring out, with bystanders scrambling for safety inside the gas station. But the real story begins 4 months later, when federal and state law enforcement unleashed a coordinated crackdown that sent shockwaves through the Outlaw Motorcycle Club world. Section 1. The Crackdown. Nearly 4 months after the violent brawl, authorities arrested 28 people in a sweeping multi-agency operation dubbed Operation Mongolian Beef. The operation name itself became a talking point. But behind the quirky title was a massive law enforcement effort. The wide-ranging operation involved the execution of 14 search warrants across multiple jurisdictions, including the Mongols Clubhouse in Edgewater, and residences in Volusia, Brevard, Polk, Palm Beach, and Miami-Dade counties in Florida, as well as a home in Chesterfield County, Virginia. The scale was unprecedented. Agencies involved in the crackdown include the FBI field offices in Jacksonville, Tampa, Miami, Richmond, Newark, Columbia, and Charlotte, the U.S. Marshals, Homeland Security Investigations, the FBI Safe Streets Task Force, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Florida, and more than a dozen sheriff's offices and police departments across Florida. The operation began around 5 a.m., with alleged gang members spread out across Florida and involved hundreds of FBI agents assisting local authorities. News cameras rode along with Volusia Sheriff Mike Chitwood as arrests were made, capturing the dramatic takedown in real time. The evidence recovered tells its own story. 38 handguns, 15 long guns, about $10,000 in cash, marijuana, meth, and fentanyl were recovered. Among those arrested was the chapter president of the Mongols Motorcycle Club in Volusia County, Carlos Cardona Batista, who was taken into custody at his home in Port Orange. Sheriff Chitwood noted that Batista is from South America and lacks permanent legal status. How did law enforcement identify so many suspects from a chaotic 8-minute incident? The answer lies in modern technology and old-fashioned detective work. Section 2. The Investigation. Video was collected from the incident, not just from the racetrack gas station where it occurred, but also from bystanders in their cars who videotaped everything. FBI and local detectives went through every single frame of video and were able to identify 31 individuals allegedly involved in the incident. All 28 arrested individuals were charged with aggravated rioting related to the gas station shooting. 3 additional suspects remain at large, with active warrants issued for their arrests. What exactly is aggravated rioting? Aggravated rioting occurs when a person participates in a riot of 25 or more other people and is a second-degree felony punishable by up to 15 years in prison. This statute was enacted in 2022. Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood didn't mince words about the message being sent. He declared, "This isn't the end. This is the beginning. You are not going to come into my county and think it's the Wild West and think you're going to own the streets. Right now, law enforcement now is on the attack. We are coming. We are not done." Chitwood emphasized, "It's game on now because there is a treasure trove of evidence." But who exactly are the Mongols, and why did this confrontation happen in the first place? Section 3. The Mongols Motorcycle Club. The Mongols Motorcycle Club was formed in Montebello, California on December 5, 1969. The club had 10 founding members, the majority of whom were Vietnam veterans. At the time, established organizations like the Hells Angels forbade Hispanic and African American membership. The Mongols Motorcycle Club was established by a group of Hispanic bikers who were denied entry into the Hells Angels due to their race. This exclusion became the catalyst for creating a new brotherhood. The first national president of the Mongols, Louis Costello, named the club in honor of Genghis Khan and the Mongol Empire. The Mongols wear a vest with an emblem of Genghis Khan, and their club colors are black and white. Alfonso Big Al Aksaves, the Mongols' first sergeant-at-arms, had served 2 tours in Vietnam as a member of the 101st Airborne Division. Aksaves had come from an abusive home, and his world only got darker as he served in Vietnam. Addicted to violence, the outlaw lifestyle appealed to him and others like him. The club's expansion was rapid. The Mongols voted to become an outlaw club in 1974. The Mongols' membership increased as the club began recruiting inmates, particularly from the California men's colony in San Luis Obispo. The Mongols are one of the largest motorcycle gangs in the United States, with approximately 800 to 850 members and 70 chapters in 19 U.S. states. The club is primarily based on the West Coast and in the southwest of the country, with the majority of its membership consisting of Hispanic men from the Los Angeles area. The Mongols are designated an organized crime group by the United States Department of Justice, the Australian Federal Police, and Europol. Mongols members have a long history in the illegal drugs trade, especially methamphetamine, money laundering, robbery, extortion, firearms violations, murder, and assault, among other crimes. The club's history is marked by violence. The Mongols became involved in a long-term feud with the Hells Angels beginning in 1977. On September 5, 1977, Mongol President Emerson Morris and member Raymond Smith were riding home from a bike run when a group of Hells Angels ambushed and gunned them down, killing both men. But what about their rivals in New Smyrna Beach? Section 4. The Warlocks Motorcycle Club. The Warlocks Motorcycle Club, also sometimes distinguished as the Phoenix Warlocks or the Florida Warlocks, is an international outlaw motorcycle club that was founded in 1967 in Florida by ex-U.S. naval servicemen serving on the aircraft carrier USS Shangri-La. In February of 1967, 13 sailors aboard the USS Shangri-La were on an 8-month deployment with the 6th Fleet in the Mediterranean Sea, and being motorcycle enthusiasts, discussed forming a motorcycle club together. The club was established by Tom Grubb Freeland, an ex-U.S. Navy veteran in Orlando, Florida. The mother chapter is still located there. The Warlocks MC patch is a phoenix, also known as a warbird. The Warlocks colors are red, orange, and gold. The Warlocks motto is, "Our business is none of your fucking business." The Warlocks have chapters in 4 countries. There are 14 chapters in Florida, 7 in South Carolina, 5 in Virginia, 4 in West Virginia, 3 in Georgia, 2 in Ohio, 3 in New York, 5 in New Jersey, 1 in Connecticut, 1 in Indiana, 2 in Minnesota, 1 in Michigan, 2 in Canada, 3 in England, and 2 in Germany. The Warlocks are considered by law enforcement to be among the many second-tier, after the Big Four, outlaw motorcycle gangs. The Warlocks have a rivalry with the Outlaws and the Pagans. The Warlocks have their own violent history with law enforcement. In 1991, the Warlocks were investigated by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives after Stephen Martin, an undercover agent, infiltrated the club, leading to several arrests. In February 1991, Warlocks New Smyrna Beach chapter president Raymond Bear Chaffin was shot 4 times in the neck and head area while in his home garage working on his Harley-Davidson motorcycle. The murder was later connected to the Outlaws MC. This history of violence between outlaw motorcycle clubs provides context for what happened during Bike Week 2025. Section 5, Bike Week and the Incident. Daytona Beach. Bike Week is a motorcycle event and rally held annually in Daytona Beach, Florida, with over 400,000 people making their way to the rally area for the 10-day event. The event is usually held on the first full week of March and contends with the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally as the most popular motorcycle rally in the United States. The Daytona Beach Bike Week Rally started as the Daytona 200 race on January 24, 1937. The 2025 event marked the 84th annual gathering. However, 2025 saw concerning attendance trends. Bike Week attendance at key spots in Daytona Beach was down by as much as 24% compared with the previous year's event, based on geofencing data reports. On Main Street, the traditional hub of Bike Week crowds, technology reported 178,600 visitors at the 2025 event, about 24% lower than the prior year's total of 233,500 visitors. Against this backdrop, violence erupted. 2 people were injured in the shooting, though all injuries appeared to be non-life-threatening. Most of the dozens of bikers who were shown on video to be at the scene reportedly fled the area before police arrived. Interim Police Chief Christopher Kirk stated that the police department was already familiar with both of the rival biker gangs. Kirk emphasized, "This isn't reflective of the overall biker population." Sheriff Chitwood revealed that 3 of the 4 people who shot were involved in a shooting the previous year in Titusville.
What was going on and wasn't doing anything? Your is getting purple.
Where they surrounded a group of warlocks on US 1 and opened fire on them. This wasn't a random confrontation, but part of an ongoing rivalry. Section 6, Broader Context. The March 8th shooting wasn't an isolated incident in Florida's motorcycle gang landscape. In 2017, Christopher Keating, who was known as Louis DeLip and was a member of the Outlaws, was stabbed to death at the former location of the Crook's Den bar in Daytona Beach. No one has been arrested in the killing, but police suspected the killer was a member of the Pagans. In 2017, the leader of the Cross Bayou chapter of the Outlaws was gunned down as he sat in his pickup truck at a traffic light in Pasco County. The shooters were members of the rival 69ers Motorcycle Club, with several people arrested, including 2 69ers who were sentenced to life in prison. The Mongols themselves have faced significant legal battles beyond Florida. 18 members and associates of the Clarksville chapter of the Mongols Motorcycle Club were federally prosecuted for RICO conspiracy, murder, kidnapping, large-scale drug trafficking, money laundering, and other crimes. According to court documents in early 2015, some defendants sought to establish the Clarksville Mongols because the Mongols did not occupy or claim any territory in Tennessee at the time. As a show of loyalty and to gain favor with the Mongols, those individuals committed a drive-by shooting and burned down the Sin City Motorcycle Club's clubhouses in Clarksville and Nashville, Tennessee. One of the earliest and most violent acts committed by the Clarksville Mongols occurred on May 22, 2015, with the kidnapping and murder of a young mother. The Clarksville Mongols believed she had stolen narcotics, money, and firearms. Law enforcement's message through Operation Mongolian Beef extends beyond this single incident. The Volusia County Sheriff stated that a clear message was sent. We are not going to tolerate violence, and in particular gang violence, not only in this community, but in the state of Florida. The arrests of 28 Mongols members in Operation Mongolian Beef represent one of the most significant coordinated law enforcement actions against an outlaw motorcycle club in 2025. What began as an 8-minute confrontation at a gas station evolved into a multi-state investigation involving multiple federal agencies, dozens of local law enforcement organizations, and sophisticated video analysis technology. With 3 additional warrants still outstanding and Sheriff Chitwood's declaration that "we are not done," this case remains active. The investigation may lead to additional charges as law enforcement continues to analyze the recovered evidence. This crackdown sends a clear message about the consequences of gang violence in public spaces. The use of the aggravated rioting statute, carrying potential 15-year prison sentences, demonstrates a willingness by prosecutors to pursue serious charges against all participants in large-scale violent incidents, not just those who pulled triggers. For Bike Week organizers and the Daytona Beach community, the incident raises questions about security and the ongoing presence of outlaw motorcycle clubs at these events. For the Mongols and Warlocks, Operation Mongolian Beef serves as a stark reminder that law enforcement is watching, documenting, and prepared to act with overwhelming force when violence erupts. The story of March 8, 2025, isn't just about one shooting at one gas station. It's about decades-old rivalries, the outlaw motorcycle club culture, modern investigative techniques, and the ongoing battle between gang members who live by their own rules and law enforcement agencies determined to maintain public safety. As this case moves through the court system, it will be watched closely by both law enforcement agencies and motorcycle clubs across the country. The outcome could set precedents for how similar incidents are handled in the future, and whether coordinated federal-state operations like Operation Mongolian Beef become the new standard response to outlaw motorcycle club violence. What we know for certain is this. On July 2, 2025, law enforcement made it clear that violent confrontations during public events will be met with swift, coordinated, and overwhelming response. The biggest crackdown of 2025 may have concluded with 28 arrests, but the message it sent resonates far beyond Florida's borders.